questions and make this as interactive as possible, because really this is about you and what your issues and challenges are around engaging with your ideal customers. And we're presuming from the start that you have already discovered who your ideal customer is. Does anyone have any questions around that first before we start?
Or does anybody maybe want to share the profile of their ideal customer if it's something that you really honed in on during your program?
Well, Gail, this is Nicole, and one of my questions is, how often should we look at this profile?
How often do you look at the profile? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your products and services probably change over time, right? So you want to be sure that you're always reaching your ideal customer, and the best way to do that is through surveys. Simple survey monkeys, simple questionnaires that you ask, or even, what kind of a business are you in, Nicole?
I'm in the the non-medical home care.
Okay, so you probably pretty well can identify who your ideal customer is now, right?
Yeah.
Right, and so unless your products and services change, unless your approach changes, something changes about your business, then you still want to make sure that that you're keeping up with the trends, that you are meeting the needs of your clientele as they age and as their needs change. And so it's really important to do surveys on a pretty regular basis.
What kind of surveys?
So are you familiar with SurveyMonkey?
Yeah.
Okay, so simply a few questions like, is there any service or product you would like to see us offer that's not being offered now? Are we providing you all the services that you need? What's missing? So simple questions that are directed to what you're doing and who your clients are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, yeah. And I would say that to be smart about that, you want to do this at least twice a year. As you're doing your planning. And then, the other thing is that it's important that you are always keeping up on the trends and what's happening currently out in the marketplace. What are your competitors doing? Is analyzing, is that something that you should be doing? This goes for all of you.
Yeah. For me, you're really hitting a sweet spot, because I've been in business 5 years and the market is changing. And I am bringing on board 2 different, what I call swim lanes of business, very, very different from my private, from my private care. So it's very interesting. Thank you. Finally.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I noticed that Wayne is on. Wayne, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Well, hi there. You submitted a question to us prior to this, and I'm going to read it if you don't mind.
Sure. And
then we can discuss that. So you said we have a local home shopping TV show in Hawaii.
Correct.
I have a bunch of clients in Hawaii. That's interesting. And that your customer is not the millennial, but the baby boomer and up to 80 plus seniors. Well, it's clear that you and Nicole have some synergies and maybe should be talking with each other. Do any of the others of you have clients? Is your ideal client in the baby boomer and up age? You can put it in the chat box. And you go on to say that they are the forgotten demographic, but to us, they have the disposable income and like to shop. So and you say they like catalogs and customer service via the phone. How can we reach more of this audience in our area? So what are you, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think one of you was going to say something. Okay, I'll go ahead. So what is your, what you have Showcase Hawaii TV. Tell me a little bit about that. What is that?
So we started a home shopping show for Hawaii, a local home shopping show. So we have a TV background and we were living on the mainland for quite some time. We came back to Hawaii and we noticed QVC and HSN, and they were having these products like sweaters and just a lot of things that you wouldn't use in Hawaii. So we thought, why not create a home shopping show that is centered around the aloha in the gifts that you give and that are more geared to our climate, our culture, things like that. So about 10 years ago, we had the opportunity to start a show with Spectrum TV, which was then Time Warner Cable. And we've been going for 10 years. We kind of let it go for, it was on cruise control for a while, and we were focusing on another business. And then last year, we exploded, and Spectrum bought Oceanic, and now there's a pop-on feature. When you turn your TV on, if our show is on, it comes up. So we're on about 10 times a week. We have a new show every month. In the past year, we went from 17,000 viewers a month to 170,000 viewers. It's just my wife and I. It's interesting. We want to keep it where we can control it. We don't want to be necessarily a $10 million company, because you have $10 million or 10 million headaches that go along with that. So we want to at least be able to control it. Right now we have a call center that we're running. And the reason why we haven't hired out is, so we shoot, we edit, we find the products because of our background. And we run the call center because we kind of interview our customers when we're talking to them. The younger ones, they order online by themselves. The older ones, they call in and they want to chat. They want that service. My wife also created kind of an unboxing experience for them because they love things that are wrapped. They love to they love it finished. They love ribbons. They love it. They don't want to feel like when you get something from Amazon, it's thrown in the box. And then 2 months ago, I have a design background, so I was able to create a catalog, just a small 3-page catalog, and it was people were asking for it. So we put maybe 16 products in it, and we thought, we'll spend maybe $800. We'll send out about 2,000 catalogs, see where it goes. So we've made about 15,000 from the catalog in the month. So it was very unexpected. We find that we really enjoy the process of speaking with the people and getting to know them. My wife could speak into this. They are a forgotten demographic. A lot of them sit at home and just watch us and record us. They find that we're almost like their friends. They do have the income. They want to spend, especially during Christmas time. They want to chat. They're not high maintenance. They really want a friend that knows that will take.
So let me ask you this. If you are not wanting to be a huge company, which it sounds like you have every possibility of being, why do you want to know how to get more of these people?
Well, we do want to scale up, but we want to be able to manage it in a way that, I mean, if we grow to a point where it's feasible to hire, we've had staff, we've had up to 15 employees on another business, and it could be quite chaotic. You can tend to lose the sense of and the mission of the company. If we could do it in a manageable way, the catalog has been very manageable for us. But
So I'm going to interrupt you because our topic here today is how do we find more of our ideal clients once we've identified who they are.
Right.
So let's stay on topic with that. I'm happy to talk with you separately about other issues at any time.
Okay.
And that's what I do. I coach business owners. I help them scale. It sounds to me like you know exactly what you're doing and how to do that successfully. I've also had my own catalog company and was one of the first 500 e-merchants online to put my catalog up there. It was in the alcohol beverage industry. We sold alcohol beverage gifts worldwide and used a network of retailers to do it. So yes.
I guess my question is, we were going to reach out to USPS to see if we could get a demographic. We didn't know if we should reach out to AARP, and then we didn't know if we should reach out to AAA. So we thought all those might be great for our demographic.
And so in terms of building synergies or alliances, joint ventures, how are you thinking about those?
Well, maybe joint ventures, but also mailing lists in our area.
Okay.
And I don't know.
If you want to scale, sure. That is definitely one way to do it.
Okay.
Absolutely. AARP, take out an ad, right? And see what kind of results you get. USPS, you can see, there are ways to find lists in your zip code locally or around Hawaii. So, those are definitely good ways to access more of your clientele. But I'm also thinking as you're talking, can't help thinking this, that you say some of the older people really like to chat. And I'm thinking, what else can you do? There's like another business piece here that could expand your offerings, that could service your community, that really could use the kinds of chatting and talking and all that you seem to do so well. So I would think about, what does that look like, right? And then on your TV show, it's easy to promote them into, what I would call a mastermind, but probably not for that demographic, but into some sort of a network, some sort of a meetup, some way to bring them all together in person. They're not far from you.
So we actually thought about that, but we don't know how to do that. We've had a lot of customers say, can we come and help you? Do you need help? We'd love to, we're retired, we want to spend time, and it would just make us happy to be doing something because they were so active. And a lot of them are, were very successful, had very successful careers.
I'm sure, right.
Yeah, just want to.
So what a great PR move to build your business with retired employees who want to work part-time, right? And who will feel very valuable. Yeah.
We actually called a few, a lot of them are living independently, but some of them are in retirement communities. And we actually did reach out to some of the communities to see if we could do something where, we go there and they help us or we create a shopping experience or just some activity.
Sure.
I guess we're not quite sure how to go about doing that.
I don't think you're going to be able to avoid growing.
We're trying to contain it, but we did think about having another business, the retirees running the call center, since they love to chat. But then you have technology and merchant service running credit cards. It's training, all that. So we've thought about it.
You know, I wouldn't let the demographic put you off, right? I kind of specialize in older women business owners. And if you look at me, you can see why.
Well, we're no spring chickens. This is hair dye, so.
Yeah. Well, so I think that one of the beauties of today's world is how much more life there is to live if only you can find how to be valuable.
Yes.
So you would be doing such a service to that segment. And I wouldn't let the training or any of that turn you off. So is there anybody else online who has similar kinds of issues in attracting more of your ideal client, or how are you thinking? Share with me.
There were a couple chats that came through from Tina and Margaret, and their customers are, it looks like the range from like late 20s to early 40s.
Right. So I see these. I do see these chats. And so, Tina, are you there? Unmute yourself. There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So you're saying they are retiring as clients in business. What do you do, and what does that mean?
Well, my clients are nonprofit agencies, and we have to get contracts signed from executive directors. And they are the baby booming ages. And now the ones that are replacing them are in their 30s or 40s. So it's a different demographic. I'm in a family-owned business, and my father is 72. He hasn't retired yet, but it's tough trying to get him to start thinking kind of how these 30s and 40s-year-olds are thinking. So the service we provide, we have a call center, we have an IVR center for a lot of nonprofit agencies that schedule abundance of appointments. They just go through our IVR and schedule appointments. In the past, the busy signals were okay, but now these 30, 40-year-olds, they're like, what's all these busy signals about? I can't have my toll-free line ringing busy. So it's been a challenge for the last few years trying to get my father to upgrade technology, move from toll-free numbers to voice over IP, where you don't get voice, to where you don't get busy signals. But now it's becoming something that we really got to do, but it's costing us a lot of money now when we could have done it in steps probably 5 years ago.
That of course, is an operational issue.
Yeah.
And is certainly one that you're going to have to solve if you're going to be able to move forward and grow.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of where we are now. And we're making some transitions and hiring a couple more people on. So hopefully by spring of next year, we'll have voice over IP in place, but it's costing a lot now. So it's been kind of tough. Yeah.
Where are you? What state are you in?
My corporate office is in Ohio, and I'm in North Carolina.
Okay. So your clientele is changing, and that's really what we're talking about, is who your clientele is. And so these are millennials, of course.
Exactly.
Right. And a lot has been written about millennials and how they want to work. And I think you have to really educate yourself on what works best with that generation, because what works for people in their 50s and 60s is not working for people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. 20s? Those must not be millennials. 30s and 40s.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, but you too, before you try to acquire new clients, you have to satisfy the old. And, every one of you, this is kind of an aside, but every one of you should strive to provide level 4 customer service today. And there's a great book I want to share with you. It's called Eat Their Lunch. And the author is Anthony I don't know how to pronounce it. Iannarino. And I heard him talk, and he's got several books out there. I'm sure that Laura Lee will put it up for you on the chat so that you can get the spelling and all right. But he has several books, and it's a book on sales, really. And it is all about not only getting those clients in the first place, but what is it that makes you keep them? And one of the biggest trends today is to start working with clients from a higher level than we used to before. We used to just provide a service, right? Or we used to just provide a product, depending on where we are in business and all. But today, that added value that you can provide has to be there from the beginning. People have to really feel, I mean, you've heard know, like, and trust, and that's important, but people have to really feel that you have their back. And if you can make them feel that way, even those millennials, if you can make them feel that way, that you have their back, that you're going to bring them, it brings me back to when I was in the liquor industry. And I was in the liquor industry for many, many years. First, I ran a franchise, which was for independent retail liquor stores. And then I told you about the other business, the international gift delivery. But even then, think about it. The salespeople who come to call on you, the ones that you tend to really want to have come back, are those that bring you value, that help you run your business better, that give you operational tips, that tell you about your clients, that fill you in on what's happening in the marketplace. So you don't have to do all that yourself. You need to be that for your clients. They have to look to you as someone who is thinking about them all the time. Even when you're talking about thousands of them, right, online, you still can bring them value in many different ways. So as you're thinking about acquisition, think about that level 4 service level. And it starts with your call centers. How are you talking to the clients who call in? What is it that's happening? Obviously, if they're getting busy signals, they're not happy. And then what service are you providing? At what level? It's really, really an important thing. So I don't know that I answered your question, Tina, but you have other issues to look at first, right?
She just ordered the book too.
Okay. Yeah, it's really good. I heard him speak. I was so impressed. He's really funny also. Okay, so Nicole, you asked me, what is level 4 servicing? Did I explain it?
Just let me unmute that. So, I mean, so it's a higher level of customer service?
It's coming to your customer with the perspective of, what do you need from me? From the perspective of, what value can I add to this conversation? How can I help you do your job better? How can I make your ROI best? Right?
Which is kind of what you said to me before about the surveys, about asking them, what more can I do?
Yes.
What do you need that we're not doing?
That's right. Exactly. They need to know that you are always striving to bring them whatever it is that you sell, whatever products and services you sell, the best customer experience. But more than that, it's that you are a true resource for them and someone who they can count on. Who salespeople who call you, right? And you hear their name, and all you want to do is hang up. It's hard not to be rude to them. You want to say, "What are you bothering me for?" Right? Well, you don't want to be that person.
Oh, no.
You want to be the person where you hear on the other end of the phone, "Oh, hi. Yeah, what do you got for me today?" And that "what do you got for me today" means I'm bringing you news you can use. Something that works for you. I'm introducing you to someone who can be of value to you. I'm teaching you something new. There's a new trend going on in the marketplace that you need to know about if you're going to keep having your customers come to your business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Wayne, I think
Can I ask
everybody.
a question?
Yeah, who is it? Oh,
it's
Laura.
Laura.
Yes.
So I'm curious, just, kind of hearing where this conversation is going. Wayne, it sounds like, has a really unique opportunity to connect really closely with his customers and constantly hear, what it is they're looking for. And Nicole, thinking about, a survey tool, I imagine that you must have a pretty sort of thorough database of your customers. And so how, what are other kind of communication channels or ways of engaging your customers? Or maybe you don't have an efficient way of tracking and connecting with your customers, but I'd like to hear from others kind of the channels that you use just to connect directly with your customers.
Mm-hmm. Who wants to share? Anyone want to tell us what they do?
Here I am. I'm non-medical home care, and customer satisfaction, customer feedback from both my clients and caregivers are very important to me. And when I started the business, I engaged with a third-party company to do my customer service survey. So every month they randomly call 2 clients and 2 caregivers, and I get a very scientifically engineered 37-page report on their feedback. We meet as a team each month and say, what did we do right and where can we improve? Mm-hmm. But I never ask the questions, Gail, what more can we do for them? So I will be bringing that into our review meeting.
Right. There's a little document I have for you. If you want it, just let me know and I can email it to you, Laura Lee. Maybe you can help this. And so it says creativity leads to breakthrough thinking, right? Mm-hmm. And these are the questions that prompt new solutions. Mm-hmm. and ways to think about how to talk with all the stakeholders that you are a part of. So things like you have a staff meeting, right? And you want to bring a higher level of service. So you ask how to do that. What are the in what ways might we provide more service? You want to open it up to a brainstorming approach. And I'm sure many of you hold brainstorming meetings, but the real way of holding a brainstorming meeting is to ask the questions in a way that's open-ended, right? So you use open-ended questions: how, what, when, where, why, and you think about, so what are all the ways that we might upgrade our call center? What are all the ways that we might provide different benefits that others don't provide? and it's all in the way that you ask the question when you're doing the brainstorming. Focus groups are another good way to survey your clients. Bring in some of your clients. You're doing a great job, Nicole, if you're doing, what you're telling us you're doing, and I give you, compliments for that. You could bring them in, right? And talk with them about the service that they're getting, and what their needs are. How might we do better? And so the thing of it is, if you continually think about the clients you have and the new clients you want, then you're of the mindset that says, what are the values we're doing? And what are our core values that we operate from? And are those core values showing themselves throughout the entire organization and to our customers and all stakeholders in our business? So some other questions I'm thinking of, and if you have any, please join me in asking them. So do you have a systematic contact plan? Do you have a way of reaching, again, all these stakeholders, of reaching your, if you have these, if you're to reaching your customers, to reaching your employees, to reaching your investors, to reaching your joint venture partners? Do you have a systematic approach to doing that? Do you have a promotional calendar? Do you have a social media calendar? Do you plan out a year in advance? How are we going to make those touch points that are important? And where are we going to do those? If you're on Facebook, or you're on LinkedIn, or you are in organizations, how are you bringing value to those organizations? When are you going to so you need to really create a budget and a plan that will help you know all year long, and help your employees know all year long what it is that you intend to do, and what are the themes around which you intend to communicate. Does that make sense? Margaret, how about you? Does that make sense to you?
Hi, this is Margaret. I've just said that I actually have a team that does that. We have all of that in place. I was just looking for ways in the next 10 minutes I've got left to actually see about getting more clients. I do conferences. I did a great presentation this morning to a wonderful group of HR professionals, and business is coming in, but I'm continually looking to the future.
And what services do you offer them?
Okay, I have two companies. One is a corporate wellness consulting company, helping the wellness program managers to build fantastic programs that engage the employees, but also bring the company costs down for their healthcare costs. Mm-hmm. And I have the corporate wellness certification company, where I train the wellness program managers and certify them in running the programs.
Oh, it's a good business.
And I have a wonderful team of facilitators that are on board to do this.
Yeah, that's great. So where are you looking to expand? In what areas?
I need to bring in additional training programs. I'm doing them in class at the moment, and then later this year we'll be rolling out the online programs. And the classrooms are funding the online rollout, so we, fingers crossed, won't need to have any funding.
That's great. And then will you evergreen those?
Yes, to a certain extent, there's always new research coming out. So while that it provides the base, you're always adding to it as new research.
Sure. Sure.
Because unfortunately, or good for us, some of the competitors that are out there, what they've got is completely, it's no longer evergreen. It's old and crispy. Let's put it that.
Yes, well, you can retire. That's your competitors.
They're still rolling it out, and no, we're building on that because the demographics are the millennials. They want to grow their careers. They want to have additional training and good, amazing certification.
Have you heard of ClickFunnels?
Yes. I don't think that this is the way to go for the people that are there. They're true professionals. Most of it's done through word of mouth, through PERTS conventions and HR magazines, that type of thing. I don't think ClickFunnels is quite the way to go, but it might be worth.
Do you understand what a funnel? Do you understand what a funnel does?
Why don't you explain it to me then?
So
I only have a few more minutes left. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, but a funnel is it's very simplistic in that it is a way to draw people into your community who can use your services. So you send out an email. So maybe it's like an email campaign, right?
We just finished one. We did one, this is December. We did an email campaign in November. We did it once a week. So we've just finished one.
Okay, and what is that email campaign? What's it doing? What's its purpose?
Well, actually, I don't know if you heard the ping, but we just generated more people getting interested in the programs that are rolling out. We've opened up the next wave of classroom training beginning in February. So it's starting to run through. People are wrapping up the end of the year. They've either got money to spend or we'll do it again in January because guess what? It's a whole new year and we've got a big healthy budget. Our training budget, we want to spend it. And
good for you, yeah. Well, you're right on track with what you're doing. There's no question about it. And there will be some bugs that you'll have to work out, but it's simply a matter of expanding that audience so that you get more people to enroll all the time. There's a good model for this, and it's called the Sales Tax Institute. And I urge you to look it up.
Okay.
Because she has developed a huge program for sales tax around the country. And it's very similar to what you're trying to do, and you just might gain something from that.
We don't need to pay tax because it's training.
No. This isn't for you to pay tax. This is a model of a program that is what you are doing for your industry.
But they don't pay tax. It's training.
I'll
look it up and
look it up. Google Diane Yetter, Yetter.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and she has just built a huge online following. What she offers is sales tax. What you're offering is training for HR professionals. So but the way that she does it.
Oh, it's the model. Okay.
That's right. It's the model. Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
All right.
Good luck with that.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the call.
Okay. All right. So tell me, does anyone else have online visions for acquiring new clients?
It's not necessarily online, or maybe you think maybe it is. I have resisted Instagram for years. I've said, doesn't work for my business, doesn't work for my business. And I finally decided last week that I was going to start to get on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I have made 3 strategic connections through this silly little Instagram account. And I have been trying to get into a hospital, and the geriatric director liked me on Instagram. I've got a meeting on Thursday with the admissions person at an assisted living facility. I'm amazed. Again, you're all laughing. And you're all laughing, but
only because it's so unclear really where clients can come from. And so if you're hitting each one of these constituencies, then either it works for you or it doesn't. In your case, you're showing that Instagram works for you. So you can.
I'm exploring. I'm having fun with it, and as long as I meet meaningful people, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah, good for you. That's great. That's really great. Yeah. So so each of you has a core business, right? Are you offering all of the programs and services you can to that core business with an eye to spinning off additional revenue streams for those people who need your services? That's where the surveying comes in. That's where you are using your current client base to find out what else can be good for you. Just Wayne, as we discussed with your call center, using your clients for your call center. And do you have a referral program in place, all of you? Do your clients know that you are looking for more clients, more customers? And do you have a way of rewarding them for sending you a new customer? Who has a great referral program in place that you can share with us? Anyone?
Tina does not. How about Rod or Judith or Maruda? Anything from you guys?
So something to think about, right? How do you set up a referral program? And each one of you wants to make sure that your current customer base feels valued. And that's one of the ways to have them feel valued. What other questions on the topic of client acquisition? Roderick, you have something?
Yeah, I just have one question. I've been sort of laying low. I think one of the situations I find myself in, there's a lot of clients that I've worked with over the last year or two. We've had good relationships, and because we're sort of a streamlined operation, I probably haven't been as attentive or customer service oriented as I try to sell myself as. And I guess what I would do is ask you, what would be a good way of, reintroducing or reacquainting myself with past customers that I really haven't talked to or visited with in a while?
Do you have a newsletter?
I do not. We do have, I guess, internal job status and proposal logs and internal reports that on visits I share with the client in terms of informing them where we stand, but we don't have an official newsletter yet.
Yeah, well, that brings up the whole topic of branding, right? I mean, each of your companies is a brand to be developed and promoted so that people get to know and look for what it is that you're writing about. A newsletter is a great way to do that. You can have a company newsletter, you can have it for employees, you can have it for clients. Another way is for some of you in unique industries or in industries that well, really all of the industries that you're in, is to write white papers on LinkedIn. One of the things we know today is that online marketing requires original content. That people want to read original content. When you can tell them, it brings up a point, Nicole. You are doing surveys now. Those kinds of results, to share them with your industry or to share them in general, is a really good thing to do, because it shows that you're the expert. And this is your annual report of X, the annual report of client satisfaction. Whatever it is, it's original content that you're putting together that is that is the results of statistical analysis. And when you can cite statistics that you yourself know from your industry and the way that you work, now you're sharing those at large, you are seen as an expert. And the best way to gain new clients is for the world at large that is in your circle to see you as a thought expert. Does that make sense, Roger? Can you apply that to your client, to your business?
Yes, I can, particularly the online pursuits. That's something we've been thinking about ourselves in terms of establishing some online or social media presence. So
yes, right. The key to that is consistency.
Okay.
Once you start, you want to keep up a presence.
Very good.
And it doesn't have to be involved. Don't make it harder than it is.
Okay.
There's a question, kind of building on this conversation. When doing this content marketing, how do you increase the chances that you stand out from the hordes of other content available? There's a lot out there.
There's a lot out there, and the key is original content. The key is something of value to your client base. The key and to people you want to attract into your circle, to build your community. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Most definitely it happens. How do people go from having 10 people on LinkedIn to having thousands? I started a new group on Facebook. Wonder Women Mastermind started the group, and all of a sudden I've got well over 150 people who have joined the group. Where'd they come from? I don't know. And I look to see who are you all. Some of them I know, right? But it's all your brand presence.
Can we join the group?
Pardon?
Can we join your group?
You certainly can. Come along.
Laura Lee, send us that name.
It's Wonder Women Mastermind. Facebook group. It's a group. So thanks, Nicole. It's this brand presence, right? You're constantly building your brand, and you attract new clients into your fold, into your community by having a presence, whether it's in an ad, whether it's on radio, whether it's podcasting. There's another whole way to get clients. Podcasting is huge today. And if you're in an industry like home health care, or you're an attorney, and I think there was a question here actually about you're an attorney and you have strict ethical limits. I know that. That's Judith. I know that, Judith. You do have ethical limits. However, you can have a personal Facebook page so people get to know you. And there are certain things that you can do that are within that ethical realm. So don't let that stop you. You certainly can have a presence on LinkedIn. I hope you do. Are you there, Judith?
Yeah, she's been chatting in questions.
Yes, I know, right? Yeah. So
we're actually I'm working with our instructor in Minneapolis, one of our instructors in Minneapolis, to put together a webinar on creating a podcast. So that should be coming in the next couple of months, because that's definitely a trend these days.
it is a trend. It is definitely a trend, yes. And it happens that my son, give him a shameless plug here, my son is very big in this field. He has 2 podcasts. One is called Reinvention Radio, and one is called Beyond 8 Figures. His name is Steve Olsher, and he runs something called a New Media Summit twice a year. So that's all about getting wannabe podcasters and podcast icons together and have them do a Shark Tank kind of pitch so that they can get interviews. So it's a big field today, and that's great that we're looking at it through Interrise, Laura Lee. I'm happy to hear that. Good. Very good.
And there is one more question here from Judith. She says most of her business development now is a result of personal networking efforts. But as she tries to scale, wants to make the relationships more with the firm than with her personally.
Yes, right, and that makes sense. But the way that you do that with the firm is, one is having a firm newsletter, which I believe you can do if you follow certain ethical guidelines. And 2 is for the members of your firm to be out there networking and gaining their own strategic alliances and being present. So you probably do that already. And the firm, of course, is what you want to build. What area are you in? Do you have any specialties as a firm?
I'll wait for her to chat that response. But what was the second podcast that your son has, Beyond 8 Figures, and what was the second one?
Reinvention Radio.
Reinvention.
Right. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Wayne asks, Wayne asks, before social media, emails, Facebook, Instagram, what was the most effective way to get out your brand and increase customers? Speaking, that's not new. Being on panels, attending conferences, being present at trade shows, all of that still works today.
Mailers, phone calls.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Gina. Right.
And, and Judith here said she works with business clients, does corporate and litigation work for them, so B2B.
Okay, so you want to make sure that you're attending the right. Here's another thing. When you're doing client acquisition work of any kind, you have to go where your clients go or where the resources your clients use go. And too often when we're out networking, we join a group for a reason because we like a person. But that's not using our time well. Our time, we have to think every year. We have to ask, is this an organization I should be a part of? Is this an organization I should drop? Is this, how am I thinking? Where else might I find an organization that would be more clearly aligned with my business and what I'm trying to accomplish? That's not to say you shouldn't do good. You can belong to charitable groups, you can and nonprofits, and you can want to make a difference in the world. But all the time you're doing that, it should be with people who are interested in you and everything that you are doing, which means what is your work? And how does that work align with the nonprofits or the causes that you champion? Does a piece of your profit go to those causes? Do you support them in some way visibly throughout the year? Our time is very precious, really precious. So we have to think very hard about how we spend it and what we do.
So we're surprisingly down to the last few minutes here. This conversation has gone by really quickly for me.
Gail, Laura, can I add one more question?
Please do, yes.
Your newsletter is a very good suggestion, and we're heading in that direction. I guess what tips would you give in terms of actually calling these folks, for lack of a better term, cold calling, to sort of verbally just say, hey, I was thinking about you, thought I'd give you a call. I know we haven't talked in a while, and so on. Are any tips in terms of time of day, methodology, approach, something, any things you can suggest to help me sort of, because I mean, it's something that we all know as a necessary evil that we have to do, but it's something that we all procrastinate on. So anything you suggest to get the ball rolling in terms of making it?
So first of all, don't think of it as a cold call. If these are past clients, it's a warm call. It's a warm call. So yes, you are. It's a warm call, and you are there to touch base.
Okay.
And, however, when you do touch base, you want to be sure that you have something of value to bring to the table. So you have to think about those people you're calling and what's new that you can share with them that they might not have found any other way.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Gail, so much. This was a really great conversation. Are you open to me sharing your contact information with folks? I think that
I wish you would. Yes, okay. Please. For sure.
That would be the answer. Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's this is a really important conversation, and I really feel like we just kind of
I appreciate everyone who was on the call. This was really wonderful for me too. And but I like your thoughtful way of thinking about this. And good luck to you. Happy New Year. Have a great 2019.
Thank you so much. So I'll follow up with you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be in touch really soon.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.